Alright, it's UFC 100 time, and it's time to do my picks. But first, a little game plug. FIFA 09 soccer. Most people will say that, you know, it's a soccer game, and we'll probably cast it aside at that point. But seriously, even like if you have no interest in soccer whatsoever, I would suggest giving this game a try. It is highly addictive. And I found that because I've gotten a couple of friends addicted to it, actually, and they are not soccer fans in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I do believe one of them fervently hates soccer, but he'll play the game. So go figure. Anyways, time to get to the fights. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe the main card begins with Alan Belcher versus Yoshihiro Akiyama. Akiyama's debut in the UFC. He is hot yama. He is awesome. He is a judo-style fighter, but he also has actually some pretty powerful hands and some pretty effective hands. And he's going up against Alan Belcher, who is a really effective kickboxer, whose BJJ is getting better, his wrestling is getting better. This fight, in terms of who's going to win, it's going to depend on where it happens. I think if it stays on the feet, I think you'll look for Belcher to win. If it goes to the ground, though, I think Akiyama will win. I think this is basically the pattern of any of Alan Belcher's fights, that he hasn't really come up against a guy who can outstrike him, but at the same time, his ground game, although it is improving working with Rich Kalani, is still just not quite at that level. I'm going to go with Akiyama via, let's go with the second round tap out, is going to be my guess. But I could very much see this fight going to Belcher. Dan Harrison versus Michael Bisping. A lot of people are giving Michael Bisping a huge chance in this fight. I don't really get it. And what I mean by that is you're dealing with decision Dan Henderson. It's very hard to beat this man by decision just because of how he is. He's such a great wrestler. He's got a pretty good stand-up. He's got and he's very, very hard to submit. I mean, basically, you either have to be a Nog or Anderson Silva to submit this man. You look at it, he probably has the wrestling advantage over Bisping. I mean, admittedly, Bisping could have improved astronomically from his previous 3 fights at middleweight, but I doubt he's improved enough. I don't think he can stop Dan Harrison's takedowns. I don't think he can knock Dan Harrison out, although I do believe he is the faster, more technical striker. And if this fight stays entirely on the feet, I think he can outpoint Dan Harrison. But when you look at Dan Harrison can finish Bisping. That's my opinion. Even though Bisping's never been finished, I don't think he's ever truly. He's never shown me this like level of chin that cannot be knocked out. He's shown me just some good technique as a fighter, and he hasn't gone up against a guy who has really tested that chin. And I think Dan Harrison may do it, but I'm going to take Dan Harrison by unanimous decision because I think when it comes down to it, Bisping can outstrike him. So I think Henderson will take to the ground. He will. He's never been a terribly big submission guy, or even a terribly big ground and pounder. He will control Bisping and he'll get a decision. And in regards to Bisping complaining about not being rated in the top 10, because you're not. That's the best answer I can give. And when you look at it, I mean, what has he done to warrant this? His biggest win is Chris Lieben. Chris Lieben's not a top 10 fighter. Charles McCarthy's not a top 100 fighter, probably. The same with Jason. Oh man, they may be in the top 100, but let's say top 50. Either Jason Dayton or Charles McCarthy are top 50. Lieben's not top 10, top 20 maybe. Bisping is solidified in the top 20, but you know, if he beats Henderson, he's in the top 10. But until you can get a win over someone who's at least close to the top 10, you're not in the top 10, and that's all there is to it. Next, Paulo Thiago, John Fitch. John Fitch by unanimous decision. There's not a lot to break down to this fight. I don't think Thiago can submit John Fitch. He knocked out Josh Koscheck, which is a pretty good feat. I mean, Koscheck's definitely not a guy to to laugh at in terms of knockout. I mean, he took Alves's shots. He took some good shots from Chris Lytle. Pete Spratt got him with a couple of things. That was a short fight, so I guess that wasn't a terribly good test. But he's a guy with a pretty proven chin. That being said, Fitch is a tough bastard. Fitch is also very much aware that he's a wrestler, something I think Koscheck sometimes loses sight of. And he will take him down. I think he'll grind him out. Decision. Thiago's We haven't really gotten a good look at what he'll do, but I don't think Fitch finishes him personally. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning because I'm really tired. But anyways, 2 title fights on this card. GSP versus Thiago Alves. Alves is a bigger fighter. People are saying he's stronger. I don't know about that. I can see that is possible, but I don't, you know, take it as a given. That being said, you look at this GSP, I think he's a better grappler. I think he's a better wrestler. I think he's got better cardio. The other big question here is Alves even going to make weight? People are praising Thiago Alves as the next big thing at 170 when he hasn't consistently even shown he can make 170, and that kind of disturbs me a little bit. Missed weight with Matt Hughes. He's also missed weight a couple other times. He's a young guy with a lot to learn. He's 25 years old. He's got devastating striking. I think he's the better striker of these two. I don't think he's quite ready to beat GSP. I think it'll come in time, because I think this guy will just get exponentially better. He's training with AT. He was great. But I think his wrestling and his ground game is not quite up to the level where he can beat GSP. I think GSP can take him down. I think GSP will finish him later on in the fight, 3rd or 4th round, when Alves' cardio, which has never impressed me, kind of will fail him. And then finally, the main event of the evening, Brock Lesnar, Frank Mir, the rematch. Brock Lesnar is contrary to what people think, I don't bash on Brock Lesnar because he's a pro wrestler, because I am a huge pro wrestling fan. I think if you ask around, you'll find that out. And I think, simply put, Brock, he's a beast. Brock he's a freak of nature. He's got great wrestling. He's got great quickness for a big man. He's got amazing power. He can win any fight you put him in because he can knock you out. But if I had to pick a winner of this fight, I still have to think it's Frank Mir. I think Frank is a better technical striker. I think there's no question Lesnar has more power. The speed is speed. I guess we'll see. That's a question, I guess, to be answered. I don't think Mir can take Lesnar down, but Lesnar. Sorry. Lesnar's instincts as a wrestler are going to dictate that he will probably go for takedowns, and he will probably get them. And I think Frank Mir is just still really ahead of him in the BJJ fund. People are saying he's a purple belt. I don't think you're a very good purple belt if you get it that quickly, but could be wrong. But you're still dealing with a black belt. I don't like any wrestler's chance against Frank Mir. I don't like Shane Carwin's chance. I don't like Cain Velasquez's chance. That's just what Frank Mir is, and hate on me if you want, but I'm going with Frank Mir. I'm going to go with a tap out. I'm going to say it takes a lot longer this time. I'm going to say 2nd or 3rd round will be when it comes. Since I got a little bit of time, cover some of the undercard fights without a terribly in-depth breakdown. I'm taking Stephan Bonner over Mark Coleman. I'm taking Jim Miller over Mac Danzig. I'm taking John Jones over Jake O'Brien. I've gone back and forth on this fight a lot, and that's DHK versus TJ Grant. I'm going to go with DHK for better striking and more of a finishing ability, whereas Grant, I think, is the only way he wins this is by decision. We have CB Dollaway versus Tom Lawler, taking CB Dollaway, and we have Matt Grice versus Shannon Gugerty. I'm taking Shannon Gugerty in this one. Couple thoughts on Miracle Crow Cop back in the UFC. Dana White not learning very much off of, the fact that he left the first time, because there's a lot more money for Crow Cop to make in Japan than there is in the UFC. I think that's something people generally don't think about, is that if you're not American born or Canadian born, there is actually more money if you're not like a massive superstar in the United States to be made in Japan, because Japan kind of respects good fighters, versus Dana White's vision's always going to be making money, and that's what makes the UFC highly successful and makes a lot of money, is that Dana White only really cares about making money. That's fine, but I would just like it if fans would realize that that is the case and kind of, have a little more of an open mind on that. Anyways, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.